Hey, I'm Bonnie, and I am the work trade coordinator for the Firefly Gathering, and I'm here at my home in Brasstown, North Carolina, near the John C. Campbell Folk School. And with me is my partner Evan, who's filming.
Hi.
And what we want to share with you today is making head cheese. And it's actually not cheese. What we're going to do is we are going to process this pig's head and make it into delicious food. Head cheese, as I know it, is cooking down a pig's head, picking off the meat and fat and all the other bits that we want to eat from it, and then cooking down the liquid that we cooked it in to kind of make a gelatin, a jelly. And we're going to put all of that into a pan together, and we're going to refrigerate it or cool it, however you have means to do such a thing, and it's going to make like a fun little delicious gelatin dessert. It feels important to me because the ways in which our modern ways of eating meat leave out a lot of the animal, and this feels like a really respectful way of using as many parts of the animal as we can. And there's also a lot of history and tradition around using different parts of the animal in different cultures around the world. So this pig's head came from Still Waters Landing Farm in Hayesville, North Carolina, which is about 20 minutes from us. And as far as acquiring a pig's head may go, maybe you process your own pigs. You can ask your local farmer about it. You could talk to a local butcher. You could also contact your local meat processor. They may or may not be able to sell you a pig's head depending on the method in which the pig was killed. There's some legality around doing that based on the method. So don't get disheartened if the answer is no. Keep asking. There's pigs there.
And also, if you process your own pig and you shoot the pig to kill it, I would recommend not using the head because you can't guarantee that there's not like bullet fragments all over the head. So just keep that in mind, that if the pig is shot, it's probably not safe for eating and cooking.
Cool. Thanks, Evan. So before we begin, we checked out the head you want to come closer? We cut away some bits that still had some hair on it. I think most people would probably use a razor to shave it. We do not own a razor, and so this is what we did. We also cleaned out the ears a little bit more, and there's that. So what we're going to do is put this pig's head into this big pot. This is a 6-gallon stock pot, and the head fits really nicely in it. If you don't have a pot big enough, you can try to cut down on the size of the head by cutting out the ears first, or cutting out the jowls. You could say the jowls for jowl bacon. Evan and I disagreed about the jowls, but I won, and they're going in the head cheese. And we've also read about quartering the pig's head to be able to fit it into a pot, but we have not tried that ourselves. So, pig's head in the pot. Okay, then we also have some onion. This is 2 onions that are quartered. And then we have spices. This is really kind of do whatever you want as far as spices go. This spice mix is what the first person who taught me about head cheese did. His name is Brian Knickrim. He's the executive sous chef at the Red Stag Grill in Asheville. And he teaches our charcuterie class at the John C. Campbell Folk School that I help with every year. So this is our spice blend. We have bay leaves. We have cinnamon sticks. We have juniper berries. Oh, there's an ant. That's not part of the recipe. These are red jalapenos from our garden. The recipe calls for red pepper. You can decide. Let's see who else is in there. You can see some salt. There's brown mustard seed. These got damp in our preparation process, so they're not sticking together. Black peppercorn. Did I say star anise already? Star anise. Did I miss anything?
What about the one that looks like a nail?
Oh, the one that looks like a nail. That's a clove. There are cloves in here too. So the recipe that I have just says a small handful. Other recipes I've seen call for about 2 teaspoons of spice each. If you're nervous about having too much spice, you could go conservative on your first try. Or if you're like, whatever, then go ahead, give it a try. So we're gonna pour those into the pot as well. Bring that over. So it fits pretty well in there. We are going to cover all of this with water and put it on the stove. We're gonna bring it to a boil and then lower it to a simmer for at least 4 hours, maybe all day, depending. 4 hours should have it cooked pretty well. One thing that you can do if you want is during the first 20 minutes or half hour of the cooking, there'll be some quote scum that rises to the top. You can scrape that away if you would like to, or you don't have to. And once that process is complete, then we will let it cool and pick the pig's head, and we're just gonna demonstrate all that. So you'll see it soon. We're gonna pause it here and go put this for cooking, and we'll see you for the next step. Hey, we're back with the head. The head is done. So come check it out. We didn't mean to start picking it. So we cooked it for about 6 hours, and we knew it was done because everything was just falling off the skull. And so the picking process is going to, you're not going to see a lot of that because, as you can see, a lot of it just kind of fell off already. But I want to talk about a few things with picking the head. So the intention here is to get everything off of the skull and separate the parts that we intend to eat from the parts that we do not intend to eat. And those are some personal choice things, so I can talk about what we're going to do, and it doesn't have to be what you do. So let's look at the tongue. Tongue is one of me and Evan's favorite things to eat. We really like pickling cow tongues. When you eat a tongue, you want to take the rough outer layer off, and so this one we probably don't even need to cut. It's just peeling. And I'm going to put that in our bowl of things that we're not going to eat. So I'm going to continue this process for the entirety of the tongue. I'll continue that in a minute. And as we go, we're looking at the snout, and there's, some pretty tough bits of cartilage in there. So I am going through and just kind of feeling with my fingers for anything that feels like it would be too much to chew. And everything else goes in. So the muscle and the skin and the fat and some other connective tissues. I don't know, Evan, are there other bodily things that I'm not thinking of?
Yeah, basically everything but the cartilage.
And bones.
And bones, obviously the bones. The cartilage is totally edible. It's just like kind of crunchy. It's not the same, won't be the same texture as the rest of the thing. So we're going to save ours, and like the ears, for instance, have a lot of cartilage on them, and we'll save them and put them in our next batch of stock. Make really gelatinous, unctuous stock.
Unctuous? What does unctuous mean?
I don't know, but people talk about stock being unctuous.
That's funny. I'm going to continue this process off camera. Here are the ears. So yeah, we took a bite of the ear to see if we wanted it, and we're gonna do what Evan said, but I'm going to peel it so we get the skin off of it. We also have a really sweet dog friend who would probably really be excited about this ear. And my fingers are getting very, very sticky from all the collagen in this, which is really exciting. It means there's a lot of good stuff in it, but that's just part of the thing. Oh, let's see. There's a lot in here. What else do we got here? There's all that fat from the jowls and such. Yeah, you can choose. Some people don't put that much fat in their head cheese. Some people save out the fat, and maybe you could render it for lard. It'll have a flavor if you try to render this for lard because it's been simmering in spices. But yeah, we're just gonna put everything in because we really like that. Let's see. There's some eyeballs in there that we're gonna try to scoop out. It might be hard to do on the camera thing, but we're gonna eat the eyeballs. And as far as the brain goes, we haven't figured that out yet, if we're gonna try to cut into the skull to get the brain or not. We'll let you know on the next part of the video once we've done that.
Or not done it, as it were.
Right. Okay, great. This is just a thing that takes a little bit, and you can discover the joys of it on your own and not watch us do it for the next 45 minutes. Great, we'll see you after we are done with this.
Hi, we're back. We have, as you can see, we finished picking most of the skull clean. Bonnie will probably spend a little bit of time doing it because she's more thorough than I am in most things. So we got a big bowl of good stuff that we're going to add to our head cheese here, and then some of the things that we're not going to add. We did end up taking off some of the fat, like the subcutaneous fat that was easy to remove because it was feeling really fatty, and that's not necessarily something that we decided we wanted.
But we're not going to throw out the fat, we're going to use it.
Yes. So, and we probably won't really throw out most of this. It'll, right, we got a dog friend that will really like some of it and add the rest to stock and feed the rest of the critters around our house with some of the rest of it. So, we are going to try to get the brain out of here. So I've got some tools to make that happen. If you can see, if we can get a close-up, there's this little split in the head right there in the skull. And so my thought is to put the corner of the hatchet on that split and hit it with a mallet and see what happens. So there's also a bigger split back here, and I decided that it'd be hard to set it on edge and try to split it. So we're going to do it this way instead. So let's see what happens. I have no idea if this is going to work. Maybe it's too greasy and it'll slide off of the cutting board. Wow.
That's exciting.
Just split right open. Whoa, you can see, I guess that's like the sinuses maybe going on in there. And nostrils.
Cool.
Ooh, pretty sweet. The angle's not very good. I don't know. Let's see. Let's just go further down. Part of me is worried about damaging the brain overly, but oh, hey, there we go.
Wow. Can we look inside?
Yeah.
Hey, there it is.
Brain. I'm really fascinated by the respiratory system here. It's really amazing. Okay.
All right.
Let's see. Just get my finger in there. Well, I'm not going to get the whole brain out as such, but I think that we'll be able to extract the brain more easily now. Here it comes. Pig brain.
Cool.
Mashed up pig brain. So, that worked splendidly. So, we're pretty much done for tonight. We're going to put this in the fridge. And in the morning, we'll start boiling down to stock and chop this up. And by tomorrow afternoon, head cheese.
Hey, we are back to talk about what is hopefully the final process in the head cheese. So after we picked the head and got the brains out of the skull, we picked all the little pieces of fat and meat and tendons and brains and all the things, eyeballs, into small pieces, and we chopped them roughly. And got all those in a big old container together, and then we salted it. It turned out that it wasn't nearly as flavorful as we had hoped, so would recommend adding more spices for folks trying it. And yeah, then we cooked down the stock, the liquid, by to about 2/3 of its original volume. This is a very creaky table that I'm leaning against. And then we let that chill and skimmed the fat off the top of it, which we will then cook delicious things in. So then I'm losing my train of thought. Then we put the meat bits into a greased loaf pan, and we poured the liquid over it and let that chill to solidify. And we're gonna try to see if it will come out. It's gonna be fun to see if it works. So I'm just gonna try to turn this one on its own. And it doesn't wanna go. So the thing that sometimes works is to put this in some hot water, just enough to get the edges of the gelatin to liquefy. Get to shake a little.
So you're looking at the edge of the gelatin and
You see it's got some liquid there. And then, okay, we're gonna try it now. Ta-da!
Whoa.
So it's just kind of a big solid mass there. So you can slice it if you want. See, it's not holding it together quite as well as I would hope. So it's kind of coming apart there. This one, you can see it, we were experimenting with packing it really tightly and packing it loosely. This one is not packed tightly, and I suspect that the more tightly packed ones will hold together better. So yeah, this ended up making 4 total loaf pans of head cheese, and so we are going to freeze most of them. I know that not everyone has access to a freezer, but that is what we are going to do. Yeah, so you can eat it cold. We've been really liking frying this in a pan and then eating it with delicious foods. I think that's it mostly. I do want to also say that a step that I forgot earlier when describing the process was adding a little bit of apple cider vinegar to the cooking process to help extract some of the minerals. So this is it. This is our head cheese. It's very exciting. Hey, so I just want to take a few minutes to conclude and wrap up this video and this demonstration. There were some things that I forgot to mention, and I've never edited a video before and I don't know how to do it, so I'm just going to add something at the end of this one. So first I want to review the process for making head cheese. 1 is sourcing a pig's head. 2 is cleaning the head, removing any additional hair or earwax or debris or anything. 3 is to simmer it with spices and onions and anything else you might want to put in there. You can research other things to put in your head cheese other than what we discussed today. Once that process is complete, you remove the head, let it cool, and pick it. One thing I want to say about that process that we incorrectly said before, we were going to peel the tongue and realized that the outer coating was totally fine to eat, so we did not end up peeling the tongue, and the stuff we did peel, put back in. So once that's picked, and then Evan demonstrated splitting open the skull to remove the brain, and then we strained any extra bits out of the stock, and we reduced the stock to 2/3. I think maybe reducing it to half could be beneficial too. Different recipes recommend different things. Some say not to reduce it at all. It really depends. So if you want to have it thicker and gluier, then reducing a little bit more helps. One thing that we also did to add more collagen and to make more gelatin in our head cheese is we had some pig's trotters as well that we had previously cooked, but they still had some good connective tissue left on them, so we threw those into our batch as well. So we cooked down the stock, then we let it chill so we could skim the fat off the top of it, and then greased a loaf pan and packed the head cheese material. First we coarsely chopped the head cheese material and then packed that into the loaf pan, poured the stock over it. We tried weighting one. Some people recommend weighting it down, and that just made a mess, so we decided not to do that again. But you could try to weight it and then chill it somehow to get it all to set up, and then you can try to flip it over, see if it comes out. If it doesn't, you can lower it into some more water, and to get the edges to release, flip it over, and you have your head cheese. I also realized that I didn't talk about the health benefits of what we were doing as well. One thing that's really amazing about this dish is its collagen levels, or the gelatin it makes. So collagen is a protein, and that's what makes up a lot of our connective tissues in the body. And when we consume collagen, so actually what happens in the cooking down process is collagen converts into gelatin, which is that gluey-like stuff. And so glue is made out of connective tissues that are high in collagen, and our traditional like hide glues and glues made out of tendons and ligaments and connective tissues as well come from that. And so what that does for us in our own bodies is really helps support our joints and our own connective tissues, and the elasticity, I was going to say elasticity of our skin and other moving parts of our bodies. So thank you for watching this video, and good luck on your adventures with your own food experiments.